Work to travel between provinces comes to an end at midnight. A last surge across the Eastern Cape and Western Cape border post is expected. Now, let's cross to Mcebisi, who is at the Tsitsikamma Toll Plaza, monitoring the movement of the vehicles. It's good to see you. Let's find out how it's looking. Mcebisi, talk to us about the movement of vehicles, and has there been this last-minute rush?
Thank you so much, Leanne. One thing that I could actually tell you about the Eastern Cape province, since the beginning of the lockdown, the law enforcement agencies in this province have had their hands full stopping people trying to get into the province, especially from the Western Cape. If you know the relationship between the Eastern Cape and also the Western Cape, as you know, both provinces, they share the same language, which is isiXhosa. So which actually make it easier for people coming from both these provinces to crisscross through these provinces, which was evidence when the president made the announcement that the country will be under the lockdown, where we saw an influx of taxis, especially on the R63 in Aberdeen, trying to get into the Eastern Cape. Some of those passengers and also taxi drivers there were apparently using illegal permits and fraudulent that certificate. At that particular time, on that day, the MEC for transport in the province, Tsitsikamma Toll Plaza, was hosting the National Police Minister during the National Police Day, and had to cut short that meeting to quickly rush into Aberdeen to try and solve that problem. After an investigation was conducted with regard to those taxis that were trying to get into the province, a 44-year-old taxi driver from the Western Cape was arrested. It's apparent that the 44-year-old man was the mastermind behind issuing these illegal permits and also fake death certificate. Still, again, this past weekend, that relationship between these two provinces was evident. As you know, in the Western Cape, they just wrapped up the picking season of apple. Those workers that were working in those farms in the Eastern Cape, they came back into the Eastern Cape, especially in the Sandys Valley, which is home to a number of citrus farmers, as the citrus picking season has also just begun in the province. But unfortunately, because of the lockdown regulations, the farmers could only take a limited number of seasonal workers. They couldn't take any more people. Those taxis were turned away by the residents, including councillors and also law enforcement agencies in the Sandys River Valley, because they feared that if those people, because they were not tested and also screened, those people that were trying to get into the Sandys River Valley, as the package that you played before coming to us here in the Toll Plaza, the farmers that were speaking there, saying that they fear that if one person is infected and also infect the workers that are working in those citrus orchards, it might actually cause instability in that industry as it exports to other continents such as Europe or Asia. But currently we're coming to you in the Toll Plaza in Tsitsikamma, which is a link between these two provinces, the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape. There's a 24-hour roadblock that is happening here. If my cameraman could just pan just behind me, you'll see a long line of trucks, also including people that are being checked by the law enforcement agencies, just to make sure those people that are trying to get out of the province, also getting in, are screened and also they comply with the lockdown regulation. But unfortunately, the bad news that we had last night is that 34 people that were apparently had traveled from the Western Cape to the Eastern Cape have tested positive for the COVID, which now the Department of Health is actually trying to track those people, which raises a number of questions. How did those people, if there are a lot of 24-hour roadblock around this province of the Eastern Cape, manage to get through without being screened or tested to actually to see that they actually have COVID-19? But later on, we'll be joined by the MEC of Transport, Tsitsikamma Toll Plaza, just to talk to us about how did those people actually, to answer those questions, how did these people manage to get into the province. But for now, on my side with my colleague Tobani Blom, it's back to you in studio.
All right, thanks very, very much for that update on what is happening, and also on the story with regard to the influx at the Sandys River Valley as well. All right, are we taking